people don't believe this. Most of my junior football I played as hooker at 5'8" in the junior football, and then when I went into the seniors I went in as lock, and I was playing lock right up until the Broncos needed someone in the front row, and I put my hand up. I was there ever since. But playing football to me, it was easy. Taking on the other opposition front rows wasn't a big deal compared to what I went through with ICU. I would never want to experience that again. My name is Gavin Allen. I played for the Brisbane Broncos in Queensland State of Origin. I'm diagnosed with cardiomyopathy and I've had a heart transplant. I used to always, didn't matter how hard I trained, I just always felt that, I never got any fitter. And we used to do pre-season and I'd train with my mates outside of the stuff that we did at the Broncos. And one night I didn't feel real flash, and we sort of didn't think much of it, and Christina said, look, why don't we just go up into the hospital? And so we went up there late one night, and as soon as I mentioned that my father had a heart history, they wouldn't let me out of the hospital. They wanted to do all the tests, which was great. And after about 3 or 4 days of testing, they come back with a diagnosis of cardiomyopathy. So I was on medication after I was diagnosed, and the medications changed and they got better, and it sort of carried me through for around 20 years. And then at one stage the medications stopped doing what they were doing before, and I was going backwards. I had a real tough time in ICU. One thing after another, I had to go back and get opened up for bleeding and all sorts of things. So ICU was a really, really tough experience for me. It was 3 weeks, and it honestly felt like 3 years. I don't think I slept for the first 5 days that I was there, and I was hallucinating, and I thought it was what was going on was real. I'd close my eyes, I'd hear crowds of people talking around me, and I'd open my eyes and be no one there. It was just daunting. It's a place where you get very lonely, and I had my family. I've got a big family. They were coming up as much as they could, twice a day sometimes, but sometimes you'd be in there and it'd feel like you haven't seen your family for a week. It's not a nice place to be, but yeah, I had no choice. You couldn't sleep, the lights are always there. I never knew what time it was. It could have been 3 o'clock in the morning, could have been 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And there's a lot of people around me, other patients that were struggling, and they were crying out at times for help, and it all just becomes a blur because you're just so exhausted, you're so tired, you're angry, it's just a place where there's just so much activity going on around you, outside your room, inside your room, and it just makes you, aggravated. You don't think you're going to come out of there. In the back of your mind, you're thinking it could be your last days. I spent 21 days in ICU. I think, had it been more peaceful, more quiet, more relaxed, to not worry about my family, and I think I would have spent less days in ICU. I really believe that. I feel my recovery was hindered through having the noise and not being able to be a restful environment. Yeah, I was terrified at times, because you just feel like you're alone the whole time, and again, an hour seems like a day. It really does. It's a place where you don't want to go back to, and they do a great job, the nurses and the doctors, and I wouldn't be here without them. But the long-term effects of it, I still think it's affecting me, today. To me, an ICU of the future would be somewhere where you could go into a peaceful environment where there was no noise, you could connect with your family, you would be relaxed without having stresses of what's going on in other rooms around you, as well as what's going on within your own room. I think it's a real outcome. You know, what it is building something like this, you're going to see instant results. You're not going to have to go, well, we're going to put all this money into this and hopefully down the track we're going to see some results. I think you're going to see instant results. And that's, to me, that's worthwhile spending your money to get instant results. I'm still having flashbacks of those moments through the, where I was there, where I wasn't sleeping and I was getting these hallucinations, and they are, honestly, they're so real it's not funny. I think with the opportunity for Queensland to come together and build this world first ICU unit and make it a place where people can truly recover, I think that in the long run every person would benefit.